my Pepsi in the morning. Hey guys, Larry here. It's been a while since I made a video. I apologize. Some things have been going on. Positive things, a lot of positive things, but I still have to work very hard for it. You get what I'm saying? I've just not really had time to sit down for a video. Working on videos, that's a different story, but making them, either way, I'm here. I'm finally here making a video. And sorry if there's like buzzing. There's like a bunch of fucking flies everywhere. I don't know where they come from. So anyway, Fanboy. Yeah. Of course the air conditioning comes on. So Fanboy has happened. Well, by the time I'm recording this, it's only in their second day. This year, for once, I didn't go to the Saturday. And I'm not going to the Sunday one, but I went to the Friday one. So this was the first time I've ever done a Friday Fanboy, and it was really cool. It was just more of an experience, and just to see what it's like. But there was a lot of, not just I went on Friday. It was a very interesting situation what I've been through. So ever since I went to the first Fanboy, I've always kept inviting people to come along with me, and unfortunately they either had something last second planned, or they didn't have the funds for it, or they just, just general, they don't know if they could have done it. And it's been alright. I've been okay to go by myself many a times, all 3 times before this. But for the first time ever, I got people to come along with me, and it felt really cool. So the people who went along with me are 2 of my YouTube pals, Lockbot CRM and All Hail Megatron 1000. Hunter and Kyle. And I also had another friend. Her name will be, I will not say her name, but let her be known. She went with us, and she offered to drive us. It was really nice of her. But anyway, that's about, I may mention her a couple of times, but I'll try not to say her name. But first time I ever got a bunch of friends to come along with me, and it was a very fun experience. Because obviously on the way up and on the way back, no conversations were had by just little old me by sitting by myself, but definitely many conversations were had way back while we're eating, while we're shopping, while we're doing all this colorful shit, going to watch a movie, all that kind of stuff. It was a fun time, and I'll never forget this Fanboy for the fact that I got to finally go with friends. It was a really, really fun time. So, did I meet anybody? Was there any fun stories? I will say this, I didn't catch the name, and I probably did catch the name and I just forgot about it because I was in a rush to go somewhere. I got recognized on a Friday show, and I don't remember, unfortunately, that guy's name. So, hey, if you're watching this, hey, you were cool. Thank you very much for stopping by and saying hello. But anyway, it was really cool to see somebody else who watched my videos, or at least these Fanboy videos. Either way, other than that, any celebrities did I meet? Well, this year at Fanboy, they had a good amount of people, and a lot of people who couldn't make it last year that came this year. Like the guy who was Mickey Mouse, he was going to come last year, but at last minute changed. That sucked, and I kind of wanted to meet him, but he did show up this year. And I'll say this, I didn't meet a lot because the funding was a little tighter this year. Some paychecks were not as big as I hoped. But, in the end, I'm still here. I'm still surviving. And I can still make my rent and all my other payments. So there's at least that. But, what was I going to add? Oh, yeah. So, but whoever I did meet this year was very important to me, in my opinion. And I did want to meet a couple other people, like Gray Griffin, Ray Delisle. She was there, Tara Strong, just a lot of people, and it was amazing, all the people that they had. But I only picked two people I really absolutely wanted to see. I'll start with the first one that I went and met. So I don't know if a lot of people know, and of course people know I like Transformers a lot, but I don't know if anybody knows that Transformers Prime is my favorite Transformers show. Transformer Media, probably, maybe. And there was always one character on that show that I always held on a high pedestal on who was the greatest character on that show of all time. It was Starscream. And any other answer is incorrect. Starscream is the best character on that show. And I finally got to meet Steve Bloom, the voice actor of Starscream, and he was such a nice guy. He was always talking to people, always having a good conversation. He was just a really, really nice dude. So I got to talk with him for a second, and he did the voice, and my heart gave out a little bit. But I've always wanted to meet him, and I always wanted to talk with him, and I did. And first up is just this little autograph card he gave me. Oh, hail Starscream. Photo, put that shit up of me meeting him. There's that. So I met him, and it was really cool. He was really nice, and it was an awesome time. The second celebrity was the biggest one. I paid $160+ for him, but I felt like there was a reason behind it, and I felt like it only made sense that I get to see him now after what I saw last year. I met Peter Cullen last year, so you can probably guess what I'm talking about. Frank Welker was at this convention, and there was no ungodly reason that I was not going to see Frank Welker, no matter what. Like, I intentionally, when I was talking with my friends, I was going to go, if I couldn't go Saturday, I was going to go Sunday. But Frank wasn't going to be there Sunday, so I had to make us go on a Friday, as much as I really wish we would have went Saturday, but oh well. Either way, I got to meet Frank, and so did Kyle. Me and him both got to meet Frank basically the same time. And I got him to sign, because I made Peter Cullen sign my MP10 in the box. I made him sign my MP Megatron box. And the funniest thing about it, so he picked this up, Frank picked this up, and he just like, interesting. And he signed it off his way. The person behind me in line also had an MP Megatron box, but he put left the Megatron in it. Kyle was the person right after that guy, and apparently Frank was like, this box is heavier than the last one. And I just sat there, I was just like, wow, to be remembered by Frank Welker as the guy who had an empty box. I went up to him, I spat in his face and said, sign my empty box, plebeian. But he was such a nice man. I talked to him. I said he's a legend because not only was he Megatron and Soundwave and all these great characters on Transformers, he's like one of the fucking biggest voice actors of all time. He was like the #1 actor for the longest time of how many things he was in, until obviously Samuel L. Jackson took it. But that's beside the point. The point is, it was an amazing moment to meet this man because he's been in so much stuff. He's been in every animal. He's been every animal, and like a cartoon ever. I forgot to ask him questions. I was going to ask him some serious questions, not Transformers questions, just like animal questions. Like, how the fuck do you do all that shit? And I forgot to do that. I'm a buffoon. But that was whenever I got him to sign something. Then we had to wait a little while to get a picture taken. And so sure enough, ta-da! I'll put up the better picture there. It was a great experience to meet both of those people because it was Megatron Starscream, and it was my favorite, probably about the only, I like Corey Burton Megatron a lot, but beside the point, it was nice to meet both Starscream and Megatron this weekend. Other than that, this Fanboy was interesting in a way because this was the first time they've done extra stuff, because before, it was always in one area, just a small, like this big old area, all the vendors in the middle, all the celebrities on the wall. That has always been the case. But before, I think even last year, at this time last year, because last year was the last day of June when they did that. And then this time last year they were announcing more stuff. I think last time, because of the photo fiasco last year, if you don't remember, a lot of us had to wait a while to get photos, and some of us even had to get them shipped because of the printers and the photo fiasco there. This year, I think last year this time they partnered with some other photography business who, like last time, the photos took them a little while. I want to say like at max before 30 minutes. Last year it took them till the closing that we finally got some of our photos. It was, and like a lot of people were angry, and a lot of people were pissed, and a lot of people were just being rude about shit. And like, well, this doesn't happen at this con. It's just like, well, this is the first time they've had to experience this amount of people, I want to say. I feel like last year, in a way, almost felt like if this was their last convention, it would have been perfectly fine. But this year, they really wanted to go one step beyond, and they wanted to keep going. They wanted to be big about this one. And so, I commend them for it. But, I guess this is going to be like the first, so, but like I said, they had this one big area, always. It was always in the Knoxville Convention Center, under the ground, and then the Q&As were upstairs, photo ops were back downstairs, all that kind of stuff. This year, they still did everything in one big place, and then of course they did a bunch of like, small Q&As upstairs, some other activities. There was one activity we did, and it was an experience. But here's the thing. They did food trucks outside. They did some food trucks. I didn't try any of them because I did not want to pay food truck prices, really. And then they had another place where you can go in. And it was a fun time. It was very interesting. No, it wasn't. I'm kidding. So there was like a second area, and there was more guests and more vendors. Supposedly. We went in there, and it didn't really feel like a lot. It felt kind of empty. Granted, a lot of celebrities that were supposed to be in there weren't there yet, like Jason David Frank, the Green White Ranger from Power Rangers. Bruce Campbell was supposed to be there. They weren't going to show up till today, which right now I'm recording it Saturday. And that area basically felt empty. And then there was the giant photo op area there. They put that there, which was a good idea. I mean, it was far away from everything else. There wasn't going to be lines extending out of like all this stuff, and it was just like, and I don't want to be negative about this, but in a way you kind of have to. I understood why they did this, and I understood they had to put it in a second area for some more area and more room. But like I said, it felt empty, and it almost felt unnecessary to even go bother there unless you were doing a photo booth, unless you were doing, getting photo ops, unless you really wanted to go meet these big name celebrities. And I don't blame them for like what I said, like all that stuff. And honestly, some people's lines in the big main room could have been shortened to make room for Bruce Campbell and Jason David Frank. And I think that's what it is. I think they put him in this other area so there'd be more room for him. And not only that, but then it also feels weird because then they put like smaller guests in this room too. This is where I met Steve Bloom, because in this area, I want to say they had like a whole Star Wars section, and Steve Bloom was put there because he is voiced in Rebels and other things. But basically, yeah, like I don't want to be mean, but like, and I don't want to shit talk Fanboy, but it felt a little weird in this other area. That multiple times I felt like we wasted our time even going over there. And as much as that sounds bad, and the reason I also say this is because we had to get checked, security reasons, every time we walked into a different building. Understandable, 100% why that makes sense. But it just kind of seemed, I'm not saying silly, but it just kind of felt like, you kind of, not wasted your time. I guess wasted your time. Like, I don't want to be really awful about this, and I really do love Fanboy, but it just felt like, alright, I've been to the front office, they gave me the ticket, and I've already been checked through one security. Now I gotta go to this other place, they gotta check me again. That's fine, but then you have to go back to the main place for some stuff, get checked again. That's alright, whatever. But like, and then it just felt, I think what the biggest problem was the inconsistency with the security. And I don't want to be mean to the security. The first time we went, we emptied everything out of our pockets, put them in hats, you know, showed our backpacks, our bags, whatever need be, go through the metal detector. That was it. The second time when we went to the security, they were like, don't take your wallet out, just get your key, you know, your keys, your phone, hoist them above your thing, you know, put your backpack on the table. That's fine. That's understandable. Then you go back to the other place, and there was like, take everything out, take everything, like everything out of it. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. And then you go back to the other place that told you to keep some of your stuff in your pocket and said, no, take everything out. And it's like, what? I don't know. But like I said, I trust them, and I feel safe that we have all this. It just kind of seemed a little, and understandable. It's 100% understandable to do all this stuff, but it just seemed inconsistent what they wanted you to do all the time. All right, enough of that shit talking. I'm sorry. But overall, I think this was a learning curve for them too. And I don't know how Saturday or Sunday is going to go for them. Saturday's probably going to have a bigger crowd. It might be better. Sunday's going to be interesting. So I really should not be the judge of this. This was on their first day, and they can learn a lot more. And they could learn from the first day, and they may have improved it today and tomorrow. I'm not one to judge, so I hope that that they fixed whatever the, you know, not problems, just fixed little issues, just a bit of issues, and it just I don't know. I feel like I'm complaining about something I shouldn't complain about, really. Like, it should honestly be perfectly fine by me that we're doing all this. And like I said, I'm glad that we felt safe the whole time. But the inconsistency, I guess, is just what kind of got me. But yeah. Bottom line, I think Fanboy is trying something new, and I don't know. And like I said, I can't be there today to see how it would work with a bigger crowd. But I'm definitely, if this continues, I'm going to be, hopefully they'll improve a little bit better. But overall, thought it was an alright time. Not an alright time, it was a fucking amazing time. One thing I wanted to say before I do a haul was that we did this Disney sing-along thing, and that was, it was funny, and not for the right reasons. We sat there, and I don't want to shit-talk people, but it was a very interesting experience. Let's just say that. Does that get you that I hold a coffee mug like that instead of this? But we did have a great time, and it was a good experience. It was a fun time. Whoops, I cut the video, sorry. Anyway, so haul time. You've seen this thing the whole time in this video. It's a Waluigi hat. I paid $20 for it. It's worth every penny in my opinion. And it's really funny, and I like it. It was the first thing I bought. I looked at it, and I sat there and looked back, and I said, I have to have this. It's needed. It's funny, they didn't have like a Mario hat. They had a Luigi hat, and they had a Wario hat, and they had this hat, but like no Mario hat. I mean, granted, I wasn't going to try to collect all the Mario hat Infinity hats, but still, it'd be pretty funny. It was just kind of funny that they didn't have Mario, but they had all the other three. Yeah, whatever. Speaking of the Infinity Stones, I did get to hold the Infinity Gauntlet finally, but unfortunately I did not. I didn't get to buy it because I was afraid. I didn't find one. That was what was weird. The one in this picture, there you go, it fits up. Was the only one I found, but I didn't think it was for sale, so I didn't even bother asking. Not that I could have afforded it if they did have it for sale, but it was still cool to finally test that thing out, to say. So yeah. All right. So other than that, I really couldn't buy a lot this year because of fundage, but some people had credit card places, so I did use some of that, and I do have credit card loans of $20. I didn't spend a lot, like I said. So the first little thing I bought was Power of the Prime's tailgate. Because, of course, I mean, I do have the tailgate we use in Misfortune, but I couldn't really turn it down. Because I wanted him when he was out, but I just never did. And I think it was when I first moved, so I couldn't really buy anything for myself. So I finally have this little guy. For $15, he wasn't that bad. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Second thing I bought, and probably the last thing I bought, other than autographs and this hat. Because I can't remember. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Let me go get it. Don't mind me, my dad bought clothes. Bam! Oh, I shouldn't have done that. So, it's this little, probably knockoff. It's definitely knockoff. Little Lego Infinity Gauntlet. So I bought like all the Lego, whenever Lego Avengers, Endgame came out, no, Infinity War. I bought all but 2 sets. I didn't buy the Santorum one, and I didn't buy the Wakanda set, so I never got to complete the Infinity Gauntlet. So now to have it, but also be very shiny, is really cool. So I did buy an Infinity Gauntlet. I'm just now realizing that. I did buy the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know who I just snapped, I'm sorry. Alright, last thing I did buy for sure, because I really can't think of anything else that I bought other than popcorn and a drink, was, I looked at them, and I talked about them whenever I watched this show earlier this year, and I just had to have them. It's Commander Dickhead, animated Sentinel Prime. I looked at it and I said, I need this guy. He looks so cool, and he not only does he look cool, he's really cool. He's a cool toy. I love him to death. Probably, right at this minute, probably one of my favorite animated toys. Just like the design of it, the transformation of it, the posability of it, everything about it's really cool, and I love it. So yeah. Let me fix this. No, it's already fixed. But yeah, no, Sentinel Prime is so cool, and I like it a lot. And he's, got that Buzz Lightyear head on him. But then again, animated was just chins. The chins, the show. The Crimson Chin could have been in that. But yeah, I love animated Sentinel Prime. He's cool. So overall, this year's Fanboy was amazing. I know I just shit-talked the whole security and the extra room shit, and I really don't mean it. And obviously I was on the first day, so I can't give it 100% a critical review. It might be better, it might get better, hopefully it should get better, and I hope it's way, and honestly they should do this. I hope they keep doing this stuff, and they do what they've done this year. I'm ready to find out what they're going to do next year, if they're going to even try to top it. How they're going to top it, if they can. Because I think the guests so far have been really great. All the people they've gotten. So yeah. Fanboy 2019 was great on its first day, in my opinion. And like I said, it was an amazing experience because I finally got to go do this with friends. And it was such a great time. And I treasure the memories we had, because right after that we went out to eat, and we also went to watch Spider-Man Far From Home. No spoilers, that movie's perfect. I should make a video again soon.